Here are 44 secrets about Demon Slayer you probably didn't know. Did you know that Zenitsu, Tanjiro, Inosuke, and Tengen have their own band? Yeah, you heard that right. In a manga extra, the four of them form a band called Stylish Scruffy Democracy. Tanjiro is the vocalist despite being tone deaf, Inosuke plays the taiko drum, Tengen is on harmonica, and Zenitsu plays shamisen and writes their songs. You probably noticed how Tanjiro headbutts people a lot. Although it's mostly a joke trait, his hard forehead is actually a trait he inherited from his mother. It's even mentioned that his mother even managed to take down a wild boar using the headbutt attack. The rising sun earrings that Tanjiro wears all the time are actually censored in China and Japan. Remember the two demons, Susumaru and Yahaba, that Tanjiro fought at Tamayo's house? Well, that night was actually the first time they had met. This fact blew me away as they worked together so well that it seemed they'd done it many times in the past. Even Tanjiro acknowledged their coordination. The name Tanjiro has the kanji for charcoal in it, tan meaning charcoal. This fits in perfectly as he started off as a charcoal dealer before he became a demon slayer. The word Hashira, when written in Japanese, is written in 9 strokes. This matches the number of Hashira who existed at the start of the series. When the author of Demon Slayer, Koyoharu Gotouge, was first designing Tengen Uzui, they had something different in mind with what ultimately made it into the manga. The original Tengen was much thinner and less muscular. He wore sleeves in order to avoid sunburns, and his face was covered in bandages. Which design do you prefer? Some of the characters in the show have some pretty unusual hair colors, like Rengoku with red and yellow hair or Mitsuri with pink and green hair. In Demon Slayer, the reason is their diets. For instance, Mitsuri's hair got its color because she ate too much sakura mochi. In Rengoku's case, he got his hair from his ancestors because they ate so much tempura. The wind Hashira, Sanemi, shares an unexpected trait with Kibutsuji Muzan. Sanemi probably wouldn't like being compared to Muzan, but both of them are 5 feet 10, 1/2 inches, and 165 pounds. The exact same weight and height. Moving on, you've probably noticed how it seems like Yomei is always crying. From losing his parents and his eyesight to being attacked by demons, Yomei has experienced a lot of pain in his life. But that's not the only reason he's frequently seen with tears streaming down his face. According to an extra chapter in the manga, Yomei starts bawling at the drop of a hat. Seriously, even something like a room being a little bit too messy might set him off. Although it's not stated explicitly, the manga implies heavily that Muzan and Kaguya are related to each other. Kaguya says that his bloodline was cursed because of a demon that came from it. This demon was the original demon, which would mean the first of its kind. It's known that Muzan is the first demon ever, so it makes sense that Muzan comes from the Ubuyashiki bloodline. Muichiro Tokido is a descendant of the Upper Moon One, Kokushibo. Although he might not look that strong, Tokido has accomplished something no other Hashira has. He took down an upper rank 12 Kizuki with no help whatsoever. But it's not surprising that he's powerful. He's one of 2 people who became a Hashira just 2 short months after starting to use a sword. The only other person to achieve this is Gyomei Himejima. Muzan Kibutsuji, also known as Michael Jackson, is the most hated character in Demon Slayer. Did you notice that the scar that Tanjiro originally got from an injury later turned into a Demon Slayer mark as the anime progressed? And Mr. Urokodaki's sense of smell is on the same level as Tanjiro's smell. I didn't even notice that. The author of Demon Slayer, Koyoharu Gotouge's gender has yet to be revealed, although they are believed to be female. In the second Demon Slayer popularity poll, Zenitsu actually placed first. Finally, my boy gets some respect put on his name. Inosuke has the same voice actor as Kirito from Sword Art Online. Their voice actor is Matsuoka Yoshitsugu. Some Demon Slayers have a mark somewhere on their bodies. For instance, the one Tanjiro has is on his forehead. This mark gives the user an incredible amount of power. However, it does come at a cost. Demon Slayers with this mark won't live past the age of 25, with the exception of Yoriichi. Yoriichi is also the first recorded Demon Slayer with a mark. You might have noticed that despite all Demon Slayers getting assigned a Kusugai crow, Inosuke's crow is nowhere to be found. Thankfully, Tanjiro has explained exactly why this is the case. It turns out that Inosuke's crow is always by his side, but due to the boar hide wearing Demon Slayer trying to eat it, it stays invisible. This fits Inosuke's personality perfectly and is hilarious. Sakonji Urokodaki's face is never shown in the anime despite being such a significant character in the story. Well, the reason for this is that he himself decided to hide his face behind a mask because he'd been mocked by demons in the past for having such a kind face. Shinobu never got her Demon Slayer mark. This is because very specific conditions need to be met. Demon Slayers must survive a lethal heart rate of 200 BPM and have a body temperature of 102.2 degrees Fahrenheit. Shinobu is known to be the weakest Demon Slayer, unable to even cut off a demon's head, so it makes sense. Kaguya Ubuyashiki is the 97th leader of the Demon Slayer Corps. This really puts it into perspective just how long the Demon Slayer Corps has been operating in the anime. Do you know the reason why Zenitsu attended the final selection? Well, Tanjiro stated that it's rumored that Zenitsu came because his master had slapped him when he refused to attend. Typical Zenitsu. Akaza is the only demon in the 12 Kizuki that refuses to eat or kill women. As a result of Muzan liking him so much, he lets him keep on with his principles. Enmu, the main antagonist in the Mugen train, mainly uses fighting methods that involve trapping people in their dreams. Well, his name is a perfect reflection of these abilities. His name contains the kanji en, which means to have a nightmare, and mu, which means dream or vision. Tamayo's voice actor, Maya Sakamoto, is married to another voice actor in the Demon Slayer cast. This voice actor is Kenichi Suzumura. Suzumura plays Obonai Iguro, one of the Hashira. Did you know that demons can't eat human food? As in, they literally can't. It's not just that they can't get the nutrition they need from it, they vomit if they try eating it. You most likely notice that Tengen wraps his swords around cloth instead of having them in a sheath like other demon slayers. This is because of the sheer size of his swords, which are almost the same size as Tanjiro. They also have explosive power, so he wraps them in cloth. A detail most people missed is that in the second season of the Demon Slayer anime, there's a scene where Tengen's muscle mice show up. Pretty funny, right? Tamayo's exact age remains unknown, but we know that she has to be at least 500 years old. How do we know? Because she was seen living during the same period as Yoriichi Tsukikuni. She became a demon shortly before that time. Genya Shizanugawa eats demon flesh in order to enhance his own power and use blood art techniques. This is potentially hazardous to his health, so he has to get repeated checkups at the Butterfly Mansion to keep himself in good shape. According to Kokushibo, he's not the only human who eats demons. It's not clear how common this practice is, but it's not unique to Genya. A common misconception is that Yoriichi is somehow related to the Kamado family. Although it's interesting that all the Kamado men have the same auburn hair and Hanafuda earrings, there's no blood relation whatsoever. Yoriichi actually ended up becoming close friends with the family after he saved them from demons, and eventually ended up teaching them all about sun breathing. You know the blue spider lily that Muzan is after? Yeah, no one has ever found it despite Muzan and a large number of subordinates constantly searching for it. Does it even exist? What do you think? Do you know all of the Hashira's favorite foods? Well, Gyu's favorite food is salmon and radish. Sanemi's is sweet rice balls. Rengoku's is sweet potato miso soup. Muichiro's is radish simmered in broth. Mitsuri's is sakura mochi. Shinobu's is ginger simmered in soy sauce. Igoro's is vinegar-soaked kelp. Tengen's is fugu sashimi. And lastly, Gyomei's is takikomi gohan, a rice dish with meat, mushroom, and vegetables. Remember Rui, the spider demon? Well, he wasn't actually at full strength when Nezuko and Tanjiro fought him. Supposedly, he's more than powerful enough to take on a Hashira, but he weakened himself severely by sharing his power with his family. During a fight with the flute demon when Rengoku first became a Hashira, he was forced to rupture his own eardrums in order to defend himself against the flute demon's blood demon art. It's well known that Yushiro is obsessed with Tamayo, but did you know that he keeps a diary dedicated entirely to taking notes about her greatness? Kind of weird, but kind of cute too. Have you ever wondered why Gyutaru's waist is so thin? Well, this is because he was constantly hungry as a human as he was poor and homeless. When he got hungry, he even ate mice and insects. This really blew over my head the first time I watched this series. Also, Gyutaru's hair is green because he's such a jealous person. But did you notice this Easter egg in the Demon Slayer Season 2 opening? If you watch closely, you can see the owners of each house that Tanjiro, Inosuke, and Zetsu infiltrate right behind each one of them. Also, this is the pervy guy that Inosuke punches, and this is the man that gets his hand cut off by Daki. Pretty crazy, right? The Season 2 opening also has similarities with the Mugen Train opening, like in this scene and this scene. You might be wondering why in this first scene Rengoku is facing the other way, and in this one Tengen is facing the same way as Tanjiro. Well, apparently it's because Rengoku dies, thus faces the other way, and Tengen will live, so he's facing the same way as Tanjiro. These were some pretty crazy facts, but if you want something even crazier, then check out this video.